Ladies and gentlemen, I have returned. I know. Oh, please, settle down. Now, it's been, a bit of time since I posted here, but I can assure you we are back to your regularly scheduled programming of posting whenever I feel like it. Now, I've been doing a lot of reflecting in my time away, and I always said to myself that if I do come back to YouTube, I gotta redesign my persona. 'Cause, bro, look at this old design. Oh my god. I mean, the hair is fine. It really only looks good from the front, and drawing it from any other angle is super annoying. But hey, most of the time when I'd be drawing him, he'd be facing the camera from the front anyway, so it's fine. We don't gotta worry about it. As long as the design has plenty of other recognizable elements that build the character, it'll be fine. I really couldn't tell you what I was thinking. It's literally just a white guy in the hoodie. And the hoodie has the YouTube logo on it.
Did you see it?
You can't do that! You will get sued! How am I supposed to market myself when my branding is just another company's branding? Well, as I continue to use this design, I did eventually try to switch it up a little bit. I refined the hair a little bit more. I got rid of the YouTube logo because I realized how fucking stupid it looked. I added some patches to the hoodie and, that's it. Yeah, it really wasn't much. Back in 2024, when I was doing the thumbnails for Funk Junk, it kind of made me realize how inefficient and poorly designed the persona was. So eventually, around March of 2025, I decided I would redesign it, just for fun. I don't think I had any plans of coming back to YouTube at this point. I just wanted to do this for me, you know? Now, I don't have any footage of me going through the process, because again, I wasn't really planning on coming back, but I do have pictures, and, who invited Vivzy Pop?
This guy stinks!
Okay, joking aside, I actually don't think this design is that bad. I actually think it's pretty serviceable. The color palette, while a little all over the place, is definitely way more iconic than the old one. Like, if you just compare the two, you can see it's a huge improvement. While changing the character to a reckless, edgy demon was certainly a choice, it does make it inherently more interesting than just a white guy. And the new outfit also helps convey the type of personality this guy would have. All in all, I'd say it's pretty decent. But there are 3 grave mistakes hidden within this design. For one, my complaint about the last design being hard to draw from any other angle that isn't the front, yeah, that hasn't changed here. You can even see me struggling in my initial sketches of the 3/4 angle. I really should have seen the warning signs. And this problem, as a result, led to the second problem, which was that I started to hate drawing him. Because it was so difficult to get him to look good from any other angle besides the one I originally drew him in, it became such a chore to just do a simple little doodle of him in a sketchbook page. It just wasn't fun. And the last issue was that it didn't feel like me. Sure, he was a fun, cute little character, but he definitely wasn't me. That wasn't Shut Up Jake, that was just an OC. Maybe with some refining, I could return to him and make him an entirely different person, but that wasn't my original intention. I spent all this time redesigning him and basically ended up back at square one. But sometimes that's just part of the process, you know? And for the record, I don't regret this brief chapter of my persona, because it taught me a lot. Not only about character design and what I like in my designs, but also how I want to express myself. And I just knew that, while I did like this guy, he wasn't me. And so, that brings us to November of 2025. I had officially decided that I wanted to come back to YouTube, and with that, a new persona. The first sketches I did kinda shows the direction I wanted to go in. I did away with making him a demon, and instead went back to a human character, but just more accurate to how I looked and acted in real life. I wasn't gonna make a super tall, lanky guy like how I often drew myself. I was gonna make the proportions more accurate to the source material. I come in at a colossal 5'2", so I'd usually draw myself in a much more generous way in the height department, but this time I didn't want that. This persona is supposed to represent me, so I want him to look like me. And as long as I can do that in a fun and interesting way, I'll have accomplished my goal. At least for now. I'm sure in another year or two I'm gonna redesign it again. Anyway, I tried a couple of sketches with these overalls with paint stains on them to really scream at the viewer that art? Me? Dude! And well, yeah, it's cute. It's not something that I would really wear in real life, which again, is kind of what I'm going for. So I scrapped that angle and just decided that I'd try drawing myself in outfits that I actually wear and just wait till one speaks to me. I started by making a vision board on Milanote, filled it with different outfits that I got off of Pinterest, and then I got to work. Please sponsor me, Milanote. I love you. Mwah. My first 2 drafts I kept very simple, and that was done on purpose. I knew it was gonna be a while before I found something I liked, so I just tried to get the rough vibe of what I wanted while also defining my persona's hair and face, which I feel like I kind of nailed by the second draft. It's far from what ends up being the final version, but the foundation is definitely there. Since I knew that I wanted the persona to represent me as best as possible, that meant that the outfit was most likely going to use a lot of cooler colors, because that's what I mostly tend to wear in the real world. Despite my earlier design predominantly featuring the color red and nothing else, it's actually not a color I usually gravitate towards, oddly enough. I love greens and blues and pairing that with blacks and grays in my outfit, so I wanted to try to go in that direction. But a good general rule of thumb that I've heard, not just with character design, but color theory in general, is called the 60-30-10 rule, where in a design using 3 or more colors, you want 60% of the dominant color, meaning the main color of the design, 30% of a secondary color that usually will add contrast or support to the dominant color in some way, and the last 10% being an accent color, meaning something that really pops out at the viewer in a good way. You don't want it to completely stick out and look out of place, but you don't want it to blend in with the rest of the design either. Keep in mind, I am far from an expert on the subject. Color theory is something I really want to work on this year, so please take all of that with a grain of salt. And then that got me thinking, well, if I'm gonna be using cooler colors a lot in my design, maybe to add some contrast, I could add a bit of red somewhere, kind of as an homage to the original. So that's what I did. I added this little reddish pink highlight to the front of my hair to add a little extra style and color that pops out to the viewer. The moment I added it, I knew it had to stay. It was such a simple addition, but it just felt so right, you know? I also added in this cute little necklace, although I wasn't as in love with this idea as the hair, but it can be messed around with for sure. I also added glasses because I wear glasses in real life. Wow, what do you know? As for the color palette, I didn't have a specific idea in mind yet. I just knew that I wanted the dominant color to either be green or blue, which pretty quickly I ended up deciding on green. But after that, I got kind of stumped for a bit. Again, the foundation is there. We can work with this. But I was also kind of unsure of where to go from here. I liked the overall vibe of the design, but the silhouette was just, I mean, there was just nothing there. And after being stuck for a couple of days, I figured that, yeah, I need help. So I typed into YouTube how to design a character silhouette or something along those lines and scrolled until I found something I liked. I watched it and it really helped. Look, art school has taught me a lot so far, but it's also taught me that sometimes you just gotta teach yourself by watching YouTube tutorials. It's a totally viable way to get good at something. I found this one video by Janelle Knight, and it completely changed the course of this project. Basically, in her video, she discussed how character designs can essentially be broken down into 2 categories. The first being the internal design, meaning what the character actually looks like, and then the external design, or the silhouette. And while often the silhouette of a character can kind of be put on the back burner while designing, she believes that it's an important fundamental to work on near the beginning of the process. TLDR, you gotta draw a lot of silhouettes until you find something you like. I am simplifying the fuck out of the video, so go watch it for yourself because I found it very helpful, and I'm sure a lot of you will as well. Anyway, I took her advice and ran with it. I started by just drawing vaguely Jake-shaped silhouettes to see what stuck. I drew 6 of them and then narrowed it down to my 3 favorites to try turning into actual designs. The outfits that appear in these designs are greatly inspired by outfits or drawings that I saw on Pinterest, but molded to be more of my taste. I ended up with a difficult decision on whether I wanted to expand on the first or second design. While I think the second provides a more interesting silhouette and is a fun outfit, I really was not trying to draw that coat, bro. Like, I tried to do a couple sketches of it, and it just did not end up going well. And I was not going to try to invest weeks of time into figuring out how to draw it effectively. Plus, I probably wouldn't wear that outfit, which again is what I'm going for, so I went with the first one. While it's definitely a little basic, I think it has an interesting and busy enough silhouette that it can convey to viewers the type of personality that I have. And most importantly, it just felt like me. I wasn't out of the woods yet though. I still had to figure out the color palette and also generally get more comfortable drawing the design. I played around with it for a while, but I eventually decided on this monochromatic green look for the shirts and made the bag a nice teal that blends in with the other cool colors but stands apart from the rest of the outfit. The pants I had a bit of an issue with just because I felt like they were a little too bland, both in terms of color and presentation. I later ended up adding cargo-style pockets to it that protrude on the sides, and I think that adds a nice extra touch to the silhouette. I'm still not totally in love with it though, so I might end up changing it later down the line. I also kept the necklace and made it bright green. I originally wanted to make it the color of my birthstone, which is emerald, but that blended in too much with the shirt, so I made it brighter instead, but now it kind of looks like a peridot, but shh, it's fine, it's fine. Who said it had to be a birthstone? As far as I'm concerned, that's just a green square, and I think it looks nice, so I'm keeping it. It's my design, it's my rules. You can't stop me. After I nailed down the outfit and the color palette, it was mainly just making small adjustments as I went along. I didn't realize until I was going through all of my pieces, but I ended up drawing the front parts of my hair longer and longer until eventually they went down to my chin. That just ended up being a natural change as I continued to draw him, which, funnily enough, doesn't end up matching the final profile picture and channel banner that I made, but whatever, it's fine. So yeah, the design you see in this video is the final one that I ended up going with. It's far from perfect, and honestly, I'll probably change it again someday, but as for right now, I really like it. It's cute, it's fun to draw, and most of all, it just feels like me. It's also way more marketable, which definitely helps. And speaking of marketing, that was the last thing I had to do. I ended up flopping around a lot when doing these. I started with the profile picture, then the banner, then the character sprites, except while I was drawing the sprites, sometimes I went back and redid some of the banner and some of the profile picture. It was a mess. But I ended up being proud of all my work, which is something that doesn't happen that often. I am normally very critical of my work, which unfortunately is a common artist experience, but this year I'm trying to adopt the mentality of just being patient with myself. Like, I knew the design or any of my drawings were not going to be perfect, and as I said, there might be a time later where I redo everything, but I know that as of right now, with my current skill set, this was the best I could do, and I think it's pretty good. It's appealing to the eye, it's a stark improvement from my previous designs, and most importantly, it just makes me happy. Art is supposed to make you happy, not emotionally exhausted, which is something we artists tend to do to ourselves very frequently. Anyway, sorry for that rant. I kind of forgot I'm supposed to be talking about designing the channel, but I also just don't have that much to say, honestly. The Angel and Devil versions of me and the banner were really fun to draw. I kind of just came up with the designs on the fly, and I really like them. The sprites were a little tedious to do, and some of them aren't amazing, but again, I might redo some of this stuff later. The profile picture I fully rendered, which I honestly don't have much experience with, but I think it turned out pretty good. And yeah, this is it. I completely redesigned my channel from the ground up, and I'm really pleased with how it all came together. Thank you for watching the video and my channel. I do hope you'll stick around for whenever the hell my next video is. Stay tuned because it might take a while with school and everything, but I really appreciate you coming through. Thanks again so much, and I'll see you guys next time.